War has always been a constant. Across the stars, in the heart of every civilization, conflict simmers and erupts as natural as the rising sun. But nothing could have prepared the galaxy for the human race, a species from a deathworld they called Earth, a place so unforgiving that even their existence was a testament to survival against all odds. The galaxy, with its countless empires, thought they knew war. They thought they knew suffering. That was before they met humans. The year was to March 15th. The coalition of the United Species, a loose federation of thousands of alien races, had long maintained peace across the galaxy, or so they thought. Their members, ranging from the peaceful Tra, with their towering, crystal-like forms, to the insectoid Rexar, were united by a common goal: stability, and in that stability, they had grown complacent. They had forgotten what true war meant. Then came the galactic rift, an anomaly deep within space that sparked the largest conflict the galaxy had ever known. On the far side of the rift, an empire known as the Zorath Dominion began expanding, devouring worlds, enslaving races, and consuming resources without mercy. When the coalition sent their best fleets to confront them, they expected victory, as they had always known it. What they found instead was annihilation. Coalition ships, designed for quick battles and peaceful diplomacy, were torn apart by the ruthless efficiency of the Zorath. Desperate and on the brink of collapse, the coalition sought out allies from the forgotten corners of the galaxy. That's when they found Earth. RE108, the human response. Humanity had been quiet for centuries, isolated within their own small sector of space, the remnants of a brutal history of war and environmental catastrophe. The coalition's diplomats arrived expecting a species of diminished capability, perhaps one weakened by years of internal conflict. They couldn't have been more wrong. Instead, they found humanity had rebuilt, not only surviving but thriving in a place where death lurked at every corner. Earth's gravity was stronger than that of most planets, its ecosystems fierce and competitive, but the humans, they had mastered it. They had turned a planet where most species would have perished into their greatest weapon. The humans agreed to join the coalition's fight on one condition: they would fight by their own terms. They remembered. The first human fleet arrived at the battlefront near RE108, a barren world deep within Zorath-controlled space. Coalition forces were already in full retreat when humanity entered the fray. The humans named the planet Ironhold due to its rich deposits of metals and minerals, and more symbolically, for the iron what they would display in battle. Led by General Alain Navas, a name that would become legend, humanity's warships tore through the Zorath lines, where the coalition had failed. Humanity's tactics were brutal, effective, and relentless. They didn't fight with the precision of the Tro or the careful formations of the Rexar. No, humans fought with ferocity, as if they were born for this moment. They deployed shock troops, soldiers in powered exoskeletons designed for Deathworld conditions. Their weapons were unlike anything the Zorath had seen. Kinetic projectiles that pierced even the heaviest of armor. Explosives that detonated with the force of collapsing stars. And at the heart of it all, there were to fight. Human soldiers fought as though they were already dead, only living to fulfill one purpose: victory. The Zorath, whose soldiers were bred for conquest, met something they could not comprehend: humans who thrived in war, who embraced it with a cold, terrifying precision. General Voss, on the ground with her troops, led the charge into the Zorath's central stronghold. The battle was brutal, but when the dust settled, Ironhold was in human hands. Deathworlders. The galaxy soon learned that humans were not merely soldiers, they were Deathworlders. Every one of them, from the youngest child to the oldest elder, had inherited a world where nature itself sought their demise, and in facing that constant struggle, they had developed a resilience no other species could match. As the war raged on, the Zorath Dominion began to falter. No matter how many fleets they threw at humans, they couldn't break them. Human warships were constructed to endure more damage than any other. Their soldiers capable of fighting in environments other species could barely survive. The very nature of the Deathworld humans came from gave them an edge that no technological superiority could counter. Humanity's legacy. Years passed, and the war finally came to a close. The Zorath dominion, once feared across the galaxy, lay in ruins, their empire shattered. The coalition, though scarred, survived thanks to their unlikely human allies, but the galaxy was forever changed. The other species had learned of Deathworlders, and the name human was now spoken with a mixture of awe and fear. For while the humans had helped save the galaxy, they had also shown a side of war that no one could forget. General Elena Voss became a symbol, not just of human strength but of the potential within every Deathworlder. Her name would echo across the stars, remembered in the annals of history as the one who turned the tide. She was a hero, but also a reminder of what humanity truly was: survivors, warriors, and above all, a species forged in the fires of a Deathworld. The galaxy would never forget the humans, and their place in the cosmos was now assured. They were not just another species, they were the remembered. And with that memory, the galaxy knew that wherever humanity walked, war would follow, and it would never be the same. The war had been won, but peace came at a cost. Across the galaxy, cities lay in ruins, planets reduced to cinders, and species struggled to recover from the scars left by the Zorath dominion's brutal conquest. The coalition of united species was forever changed, fractured under the weight of the losses they had endured, barely holding together under the fragile threads of diplomacy. For humanity, this was a familiar story. After RE108, the human name became known far and wide, and they were both celebrated and feared. Their Deathworld origins, their ferocity in battle, and their unyielding will to survive had earned them a seat at the galactic table. But humanity, ever cautious, did not bask in the glow of victory. They knew the galaxy was far from safe, and while the Zorath had been shattered, other threats loomed in the darkness beyond the known regions of space. The coalition on the brink. The aftermath of the war saw many species of the coalition shaken to their core. Old alliances strained, and internal conflicts began to emerge as the various races struggled to rebuild and redefine their place in the galaxy, while the humans worked tirelessly to help restore order, providing both resources and military support to protect vulnerable worlds. They were also outsiders. Many in the coalition began to question whether humanity was truly an ally, or if they had simply exchanged one conqueror for another. Tensions flared, especially among the Tra and the Cerathians, who had suffered the most at the hands of the Zorath. Though they owed their survival to the humans, there were whispers in the shadows, rumors of distrust, fear of humanity's growing influence, and resentment toward their brutal methods in war. In the coalition senate, debates grew heated. Some believed humanity should be given more power, seeing them as the only species capable of protecting the galaxy from future threats. Others saw them as a necessary evil, to be controlled and watched closely. Meanwhile, the human ambassadors, calm and calculated, played their cards carefully, understanding that they stood on a precipice. The return of the Forgotten, the Ravagers. While the galaxy struggled with its internal divisions, a new danger began to stir, far beyond the outer rim of the known galaxy. In the dark expanse beyond the explored space, a terrifying force was awakening. The Zorath Dominion had been only one of many threats lurking in the void, and now, with the Dominion weakened, others saw an opportunity to rise. They were known only as the Ravagers, a nomadic and ruthless empire that thrived on destruction. Unlike the Zorath, who sought control, the Ravagers sought only chaos. Their ships were like nothing the coalition had ever seen, massive constructs of twisted metal, bristling with weapons that defied known technology. They had remained hidden in the dark regions of space, watching, waiting for the right moment to strike. And now, with the galaxy in disarray, that moment had come. Humanity's gamble. General Elena Voss, now an advisor to the coalition's high command, had sensed this coming. The scars of RE108 were still fresh, and though she had led humanity to victory, she knew the galaxy was not ready for what was coming next. War was an inevitability in the vastness of space, and the humans, Deathworlders through and through, had spent their entire history preparing for it. At a secret meeting on Earth, humanity's top military minds gathered. Voss stood before them, her face stern but resolute. She laid out the situation: if the Ravagers struck, they would strike hard and without mercy. The coalition was fractured, weakened from the war, and its members were ill-prepared for the kind of carnage the Ravagers would bring. They couldn't count on the other species to act in time. It would be up to humanity to lead the charge once again. The Council of Earth voted unanimously they would deploy a vanguard fleet to intercept the Ravagers before they reached the coalition's borders. But it wouldn't be a simple defense. Humanity was preparing for total war. The vanguard strikes RE109, an uninhabited system near the outer rim, was the designated point of interception. The Ravagers' fleets were massive, slow-moving juggernauts, but their path of destruction had been predictable. Humanity had spent months tracking their movements, and now the time had come. The vanguard fleet, led by Admiral Soren Graves, was an elite force of the most advanced human warships ever constructed. These vessels had been designed specifically for this moment, to face an enemy unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Each ship was outfitted with next-generation kinetic weapons, energy shields capable of withstanding the harshest of attacks, and cloaking devices that allowed them to move undetected. The Battle of RE109 would go down in history as one of the most intense space engagements ever fought. The Ravagers arrived in overwhelming force, their ships blotting out the stars, but humanity did not flinch. The vanguard struck with surgical precision, targeting the Ravagers' command ships and supply lines. Admiral Graves, a tactical genius, anticipated every move the enemy made, leading his fleet through impossible odds. But the Ravagers were unlike any foe humanity had ever faced. Their ships, monstrous in size and strength, absorbed blow after blow. They had no fear, no hesitation. They fought with a singular purpose to destroy. As the battle raged, human ships were lost, one by one, but they held their ground. Graves ordered a risky maneuver, splitting the fleet and encircling the Ravagers, forcing them into a defensive position. It was a dangerous gamble, but it paid off. The Ravagers, caught off guard by the speed and precision of the human forces, began to falter. The turning point. 4 hours. The battle hung in the balance, with both sides suffering heavy losses, but the humans had one advantage the Ravagers could not: counter-resilience. The Deathworlders had faced extinction before, and they had survived. They would survive again. As the tide began to turn, a single ship, a Ravager dreadnought, the largest vessel in their fleet, began to break formation. Graves seized the moment. He ordered a full assault on the dreadnought, every remaining ship focusing their firepower on its weak points. The dreadnought, unable to withstand the concentrated attack, exploded in a cataclysmic burst of light. With their command ship destroyed, the Ravagers began to retreat, their once unstoppable force now in disarray.